Prince the producer.
What's going on, guys? Tanner from Tanner Talks here. Season 2. Got a new little setup. Got some new mic stands. New building that we're in. Got Gage here with me. The Beast1, Gage Beast Fraud.
Hell yeah. Man? Oh no, I should not have.
You shook it because
I should not have dapped you up. After
you shook it because you agreed. Before we start the podcast today, my grandpa, he watches my podcast. Oh, he told me how proud he was of me, and he told me all this and all that, and, it made me happy. He said, but there was one thing. And I was like, what is that? And I was like, I think I know. And I was like, is it the cussing? He's like, it's just too much. It's just too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop cussing on the podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah. And that's a part of I usually cuss a lot. Sorry that I had to, I don't know, but I'm going to try it. And if I slip, I'm sorry, but either way, I'm going to try to stop cussing on the podcast. Thank you for coming.
No problem.
It's a weird setup, weird way of having it start and shit.
We had to fight a couple ghosts to get in here.
Huh? I said the S word. I'm sorry. It's going to slip.
We had to fight a couple ghosts to get in here. So
yeah.
Good thing that we were able to beat back the poltergeists.
Yeah. As soon as we pull up, Gage is like, whose chain did you have to pull to get this building? And I told him my mom's a photographer, and unlocked the door, got in here, and there's no lights on, so it's really creepy going down the hallways and stuff.
Yeah, as dark as ever living. Like it looks prime to be like a spook spot. Like that definitely is. I can definitely see that. Like,
but Gage is a Chargers fan. If you guys watched the last podcast, you'd know.
Hell yeah.
Gage is.
I was thinking of. Sorry to interrupt, but I was thinking back then. I actually said before the draft.
A little bit closer to you.
I actually said before the draft that the Chargers should trade for Dak Prescott.
Trade for Dak Prescott.
I remember saying that, and I'm glad we didn't. Cause
you never
Herbie
know how. You never know how. Yeah, that's true. I guess in that aspect, how do you feel that? Okay, so let's walk through it. So the Chargers season starts. You guys started off what?
We beat the Bengals because their kicker shanked a kick. And I was like, wait, we won, but Tyrod Taylor, he's a cool dude, but he just keeps on getting replaced everywhere he goes. And it's not his fault. It's not his fault that his lung got stabbed, but I'm glad that we felt that Herbert began to start because Tyrod Taylor, he's never going to beat Mahomes.
It was a closed door. It was the door shut for the other one to open. A blessing in disguise to get Justin Herbert, who won Rookie of the Year. Like, what do you see in the future with Justin Herbert as your quarterback, and what did you see this year that gets you excited as a Chargers fan, and what other Chargers fans should be excited about too if they haven't realized it yet?
I think he probably will play a little worse next year just because, people got tape on him as the year goes on, but, there's always going to be time. Like the Patriots game was just garbage. But that's Bill Belichick. He knows how to beat young players, but
I think he is. I want to say
he's probably dang near undefeated except for like a Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
just because that
he's. Keep talking.
But yeah, something that was so awesome about Herbie that I said a lot during the year to y'all was that when Phillip Rivers was gearing up to throw it, I was like, because I love Phil, he's one of my favorite dudes, but anytime that he was throwing it past like 10 yards, I always winced because I was like, oh God, it's gonna get intercepted. But seeing Herbie just step up and just throw it, I'm like, it's a touchdown. I just know it's going to be a touchdown or it's going to be a good completion because he just has I hate saying it and I hate when people say it, he has that it. You see Herbert play and he just is in full command of what he's doing. I don't think that Anthony Lynn, our previous coach, gave him a lot of room to operate within the offense, but imagine the smarts of it, because people may not like Phil Rivers, but he's one of the best at the line quarterbacks, just probably ever.
To audible and things that, and just the way read defenses.
The way he can read defenses and audible to the right play. So imagine that plus Herbert's talent, he can become that, and that's scary. Because even Patrick Mahomes, he can read he can like read coverages and he makes like stops at like the line of scrimmage.
Mhm.
But their offense is just so good that it kind of doesn't really matter what you run in a sense. But it's just like I'm so excited to see how far Herbert can go, and I'm really excited to see our offensive line not be ass dick because Herbert was breaking all those records, and he had a bottom 5 offensive line in run and pass blocking. So imagine a good line with a new coach that actually thinks of him as not just a backup quarterback. Like, I remember when Anthony Lynn said he's a backup for a reason. Like, just
It's really not, yeah, that doesn't really go well either.
Should have gotten fired right then.
For just saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to what I was saying about Bill Belichick, his record against rookie QBs since he took over in New England is 21-6.
Yeah.
He does against rookie QBs. He knows what to throw at him. He knows different disguises on defense, and I think he's he's definitely a top 3 greatest coach of all time. but yeah, that game 45-6,
47-0.
47. That was the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
47-0. That was the only game in the last how long that you turned off, right?
Yeah, I stopped watching at half because at half, like we were gonna kick like a field goal or whatever. And I was like, whatever, Badger's probably gonna miss it anyway. I literally walked down the stairs. And I'm like, I can do like schoolwork or something. And as soon as I go downstairs, I hear my brother and my mom like start going, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Oh wow, I can't believe that he shanked it." They come down, they go, "What do you think happened?" I'm like, "Well, he probably shanked it." He goes, "Nope, blocked, returned for a touchdown." I was like, "Yeah, I got schoolwork to do. I got things I can do that is not watching Anthony Lynn get outclassed."
And that's crazy to see though. Is that I'm assuming you've been through a lot more than just that. Has there been any other experience that you have as a Chargers fan watching anyways that you had to turn off the TV? Or other than that one?
None that I ever like turned off the TV or walked away, but
really wanted to.
Really wanted to. The game in Mexico like 2 or 3 years ago
Versus the Chiefs?
Mm-hmm. When Phil threw a jump ball to like 5'9" Austin Eckler.
Oh yeah, I think I was there with you when I watched this. Didn't
he really threw it up, and I was like, because he had made a big completion to Mike Williams down the sideline to like get us in position. So I was like, it's what Phillip Rivers does. Get your hopes up, and you're like, oh my God, Phillip Rivers, he's doing it. He's going down the field, and then throws it up, and I'm like, back shoulder, corner of the end zone to Austin Eckler. That'll work. Jump ball with like 6'3" Daniel Sorensen. That won't work. Picked, and then it's just like, hands in face, and it's like, oh wow, I've never seen that before. Oh wait, I saw it last week.
Yeah. I think as a Vikings fan, there's been some games that I've just not wanted to watch. We had the Minneapolis Miracle versus the Saints, and then the very next week we went to.
That's rough.
We went to
Philly.
Went to Philly, played. I'm getting like the feelings that I'm getting right now is what I was feeling back then. But we played Nick Foles, yeah. Played Nick Foles.
Well endowed Nick.
And the Eagles were just on fire. There was that Cinderella story team, and I really thought it was our year that year because we started off we had the season 13-3, and our defense was insane. And I remember there was like those memes of our defense, and basically it was like what it feels like playing the Vikings defense, and it showed our defense, but like everybody was doubled. So you'd see like 2 Anthony Barrs, two Eric Kendrickses, 2 Danielle Hunters, 2 Everson Griffins, just double everybody. So it's like that's who you're playing against, just as a meme. But our defense was really, really good, and Case Keenum took over for an injured Brad. Sam Bradford. And it was kind of like a Cinderella story for Case Keenum too. And he played great. We got to 13-3. Number 2 seed. Who was the number 1? Eagles? Yeah, I believe so because it was at Eagles.
Probably.
Yeah. Number 1 seed Eagles, and we got to the number 2 seed, so we had the bye week. And we played, so we had the bye week, and then we played the Saints. I remember the first half, I was at home sitting on my couch, and I was watching it, and we was up 17-0, I believe. And when we left to go to Snow Creek, which is a place where you can go skiing and everything, we went to Snow Creek, and I was checking on my phone, and of course, Drew Brees is coming back with the Saints. So I was like, is this really going to happen? Like, is this really, really, really going to happen? And so it gets down to like the final couple plays, and we kick the field goal. I'm like, let's go. Then they kick a field goal. I'm like, crap. And then we have the ball. I remember seeing there was like 25 seconds left, and we go for a play or something because it was just an updated thing. It wasn't like the game. It was you refresh it and it says the ball is at this part, and then the play stops. A couple plays later, then we're at 10 seconds, and we lost. You know, we're at like the 40-yard line or like the 30-yard line or something. Obviously, it's not going to happen, and it says the play started, and my phone dies.
I remember I watched that play live because I was in my room doing something. And
Try to speak a little bit more into the mic, too.
We had I was in my room, and my mom comes out. She goes, hey, you know, it sucks that Tanner's team's going to lose. And I was like, oh, yeah. And so I go out to the front room, and I see, like you know, the play's about to happen. I'm like, damn. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, well. And then I see it, and Diggs caught it. And, like, I thought he stepped out of bounds, and he kept going, and I was like, my mom and I were like, oh my God. Like, oh, man, I wonder how Tanner's feeling right now. I'm like, dude's probably, like, bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, and so my phone dies, and I'm just thinking the whole time. And I'm going, and I went down the hill that they had, and I'm just like, hey, do any of you guys have your phone? Any of you guys have your phone? Nobody had their phone. I walk inside, and I saw my uncle, and I was like, hey, I was like, can you look up the Vikings score, please? He goes, yeah, you guys won. And I was like, we won? I was like, we won? And I got home, and I got my phone on the charger and social media, you know, like It was just everywhere. And one of my favorite videos to this day is a sideline cam of it. And as soon as like the crowd's like, you know, just muffled sounds, and then Case Keenum throws it, Diggs catches it, you hear, yeah, and then he gets free and runs free, and everybody goes, ah! Like you just hear the crowd go nuts. I get goosebumps every single time I watch it, and it's such a great video. Then we go up to Philly, and we play the Cinderella story, Nick Foles. And I think very first drive, we went down and scored. And I was like, this is our year. The Super Bowl is at our home. It was in the new stadium. And I remember like that week I looked up what's the Super Bowl winner, and it showed the Vikings as a Super Bowl winner on like Wikipedia or on like Google or something. It didn't show the Patriots, and the Patriots had already won, and so it said it had like the Vikings, and that was basically someone fucked up or someone messed up, and so I was thinking that it was our year. I thought it was the rigged for us to win it, and it was just Nick Foles. I was sitting by a casual, which is the worst. I was sitting by a guy who was like, oh yeah, good tackle. Like that type of guy. Loud, obnoxious, drunk. Oh yeah, I like the Eagles. I want the Eagles to win. And like wouldn't even understand how is that a foul? Like that type of guy, which is terrible. It's terrible. It really is. And it was just really annoying, and well, maybe next year. No, that's not how it works in football. Unless you're Tom Brady. Yeah. Speaking of which.
You know, if y'all had Josh Freeman, I think it probably would have went different. Only real dudes know what the Josh Freeman Vikings.
Yeah. Josh Freeman would just throw an interception and start smiling. Be very
Hey,
frustrating.
at least he always had a good attitude about what he was doing.
Well, he shouldn't have. I mean, he should have had a really bad attitude
I remember-
about what he was doing. What do you remember?
I just remember those good old days.
No, I remember when we got Matt Castle and Justin was like, "Hey, Matt Castle was good." No, he was not. Matt Castle was always memed on
He was
because of
ass
how
dick.
bad he was. Wasn't Matt Castle the quarterback when the Chiefs didn't have a touchdown for like how many years?
I don't doubt it. I really
Do you
don't.
remember when the Chiefs went how many years without scoring a passing touchdown?
I think you're talking about touchdowns to a wide receiver,
Yeah.
and that was Alex Smith.
Are you sure that was Alex Smith?
Alex Smith was always throwing it to either Kelsey or a running back. That was Alex Smith. I remember that. Because everyone goes, oh yeah, look, people say Alex Smith could do the same thing, but Patrick Mahomes could do it to the wide receivers. It's like, yeah, it was Alex Smith in 2014.
Let's see here.
Yep, Alex Smith.
Really? Okay. Well, yeah. Good job.
Yeah, trust you me. I've been
Yeah,
watching
they
the
went.
Chiefs
So
since,
they
like-
went the whole 2014 without throwing a touchdown pass to a wide receiver.
To be fair, who was even on their team?
That was like
Jamal Charles. So that would have been like Dwayne Bowe. Yeah,
Dwayne Bowe,
That would have
yeah.
been Dwayne. Oh god, that guy sucked.
I heard that Dwayne Bowe is a mean guy. I heard that somebody from work went and met him, and he just kind of acted like he was better than everyone. Like, I don't know. That's just what I heard. I mean, he was a bum, so
Yeah, Dwayne Bowe.
I think he started rapping, but I think he was kind of a bum.
That's probably what. I don't doubt it. I believe it.
But yeah, so that was one of those games that I really wanted to turn off. Plus, a casual was just next to me. A drunk casual. Like, there's being a casual, then there's being an obnoxious casual. And it's just even worse.
Especially if someone's a casual, it can be like fine if they're like, hey, I'm a casual, so I don't really know.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh, yeah. But it's worse when they're like, they try to think, they try to,
like stick.
they try to think that they know what they're doing. And they try to get you to believe that they know what they're talking about. Like, did you ever see the thing when Stephen A. Smith was commentating?
UFC.
Yeah, for like,
I saw
and Joe
some of
Rogan and him kind of had their own little thing.
Yeah, I saw him on UFC. I was like, Stephen A. he's a good analyst, and like he may have like dumb takes, but like he at least like researches stuff. Like
Mhm.
he tries to be good at what he does, but get that man off of UFC. Like you need former fighters or you need Joe Rogan. Like
Yeah, I know.
you just can't have that. That's just dumb.
Yeah, and then they had like a little back and forth, and
I believe.
but yeah, so those are the games. That's the game that I really wanted to turn off. So we got the Chargers, we got Justin Herbert, Rookie of the Year. There was, I don't want to say there was controversy in Justin Herbert winning it, because me as a Vikings fan personally believes that Justin Herbert deserves it. But there was a little bit of controversy because it was between either him or Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I mean, and what Justin Jefferson did this year was record breaking in his own right. I mean, if you're ever like it's said that if you're ever on a list with like for basketball, if everyone ever says like if you're on a list with Jordan, that's that's a good thing. It's like if you're on a list with Jerry Rice and Randy Moss and dudes like that, then you know that number one, you drafted the right guy. Number two, you're good. It's like the dude's just good. I mean, it sucks that he didn't get it, but I think that probably, I think Herbert had a better year, but it's like picking between your two favorite foods. Like you're cool.
Like pizza or tacos.
Yeah, like you're cool with either. But it's like if you really have to pick one, then then you're gonna pick your favorite. But shoot, if both of them had a shot at winning it, both of them deserved it. So just how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, and I'm okay with it. Honestly, the only award that I really care about is the Lombardi Trophy or an MVP. Like, obviously, I think that I'd rather have the Lombardi Trophy. Everybody would rather have a Lombardi Trophy than an MVP. But I feel like those are the only two awards that I would care about. Yeah, Justin Jefferson, he broke Randy Moss's 1998 record with 1,313 yards receiving. Second place in NFL history for a rookie is Anquan Bolden of Arizona. Yeah, it's crazy. And I don't know. I wish Kirk Cousins. I wish we would get either trust Kirk Cousins more or get a QB that we can trust, because I feel like we're just so reliant on Dalvin Cook that we're going to run him to the ground. And I don't know. I just wish, because when Kirk throws the ball, you know how I am. Kirk! He gets it there. He's actually a very accurate deep ball thrower. I just wish, honestly, I think Mike Zimmer gets one more year, and if he doesn't at least go 9-7 with our talent plus all of our defense is going to be back, then I feel like we should get rid of Mike Zimmer and get someone who's more offensive minded. Hire Eric Bieniemy. Like, get Eric Bieniemy in here and then put Mike Zimmer as DC in a perfect world. But no, he's not going to want to be a DC.
You know what I think is that it's either you give Kirk free reign, or you continue with what you're doing, and I mean it might be hard because of his salary, but package Kirk and like a pick and try to get a top 10 pick this year, draft your QB of the future, and you can still rely on Dalvin, the rookie quarterback like Zach Wilson or
can
like Trey
develop.
Lance.
Yeah,
will have Dalvin Cook to rely on, have great weapons. We'll have a healing defense because y'all had a bunch of injuries and lost people to like free agency and stuff. So we'll have a healed up defense. Dalvin Cook, a top 3 back in the league. You'll have one of the best wide receiver duos. Rudolph isn't nothing to sneeze at. Mm-hmm. And if you put like Zach Wilson or like a Trey Lance, or if you guys like go stupid and you pick Mac Jones, I mean, you'll still have.
We pick Mac Jones. I'll join the Chargers. I'll join the Chargers and just be a Herbert fan.
Yeah, I mean,
no. If we got Mac Jones, I'd probably just go to the Cardinals. Dude, I couldn't do it.
Y'all could do that.
I don't want Mac Jones.
No, I'm not saying like a Mac Jones. I'm saying like if you guys packaged Kirk and like a later pick for a top 10 pick, drafted a guy, you could still rely on Dalvin, and then Mike Zimmer could keep his job because he'd be like, well, I got a rookie quarterback. I got to help him develop. You don't want a rookie quarterback to have 2 coaches in his first 2 years, do you? Mm-hmm. And then it's like, yeah, well, look at Anthony Lynn, and here's the door. It's like, so I mean, or give Kirk free reign because Kirk's not a scrub. Kirk's a top 15.
Kirk statistically is a top 10 quarterback. But there's just that it factor that he doesn't withhold. And his name is Kirk Cousins. When you think of Kirk Cousins, do you think of a top 10 quarterback? No, you don't. You think of a scrub. You think of someone who's trash. Like, just off the top of your brain, people like to crap on Kirk Cousins a lot. And I just... It's whatever. When you have that stain on your name, it's hard for someone to look away from it.
I mean, Kirk Cousins has never really been... He's never been believed in, I don't think. Mm-hmm. Because, like, y'all give him all that money, but, like, whenever he was in Washington...
He kept getting franchise tagged.
Yeah, he was constantly fighting to prove that he was worth a contract. Then he goes to the Vikings, and he gets guaranteed money. Everyone shits on him. And then they rely a lot on Dalvin and, like, things like play-action deep ball. And so it makes Kirk sort of one-dimensional, makes the offense more... makes him two-dimensional, but like people think, the main star is Dalvin, and then you have the whole primetime thing, and so Kirk's never really been believed in. But if Mike Zimmer is like, hey, I need a new contract, so Kirk, you also need a new contract after this year. Ball out. Here's the offense. It's all you. If you do that, then you could be like, and if it doesn't work, then you could say, well, we tried to give Kirk full reign. We believed in him all this year, and it just didn't work out. Mm-hmm. Mike Zimmer will get a coordinator job somewhere, and Kirk will get overpaid on the market. But if it does work, then with that healed defense, who doesn't have to play as much because Kirk's balling out, mm-hmm. they can pin their ears back, rush the passer. They'll play better. The DBs who are young have another year under their belt. They'll develop better. Mm-hmm. Then you have a chance for playoffs because the Lions, Jared Goff, laughing my ass off. And you got the Bears. Trubisky's 5th-year option didn't get picked up, so who knows who they're going to have.
Yeah.
And the Saints are gone. Falcons gone. Panthers aren't going to be anything. So this is like for like a wild card because Green Bay's going to win the division.
Right.
And then you have in the NFC East, I don't even have to say anything about that. And the NFC West is stacked. So the Vikings get in as like the 6th or 7th seed back in the playoffs.
Yeah. And another thing, like what you said, was with Kirk Cousins in the primetime thing, it's like, guys, he was on the Redskins. And I think he's played Seattle like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Like, come on, are we really gonna keep saying that? But he finally won one, didn't he? If I can remember right, I think he finally.
I think like a year ago.
Yeah, something like that. And but yeah, and I heard someone on. We listened to the Colin Cowherd, the Herd, Joy Taylor, and someone he had on there. I forgot if it was Trent Dilford or someone else. Said he could coach Mitchell Trubisky, and said that they just aren't using him right. They think that Matt Nagy isn't doing a good job.
Hey man, Matt Nagy's a hell of a coach.
Yeah, I like Matt Nagy.
I mean, yeah, he's got a stacked defense, but what he's been able to do with that limited offense is just Matt Nagy deserves to be a coach in the league.
Yeah, and to your point, that he also said that. He also said that Mitchell Trubisky, he's like, yeah, I mean, no, he's not a great thrower of the football, but neither is Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson's just fine. Well, Mitchell Trubisky also doesn't run a 2.6 40. Like, he also isn't quick and one of the most elusive running quarterbacks we've ever seen since, like, Michael Vick or – I mean, I'm guessing he was projected to be better than RG3, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Then Michael Vick, you know. But, yeah, so – I don't know. I hope we just get it figured out. I would rather us go 3-13 than go 8-8, 7-9. I don't like mediocrity. Either if you're not first or last, Ricky Bobby. If you're not first or last.
Yeah. So like if you go, I agree with that because if you go 3-13, you know that things need to change and that you're going to be able to draft players to make things change.
Yeah.
So. You know, that's why like Chargers won like 4 of their last 5. Mm-hmm. And it's like cool because like, hey, I like winning. No one likes losing. But it's also like we could have gotten like another top 5 pick. Could have gotten like Penei Sewell. Could have gotten one of the big boys.
Is Penei Sewell the guy from Alabama?
Tackle from Oregon.
Oregon? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Herbie's former teammate. Which there's so many QB hungry teams that Penei Sewell might fall out of the top 10. So
yeah,
who knows?
Where do you think Deshaun Watson goes?
I see a lot of the Jets, but like use your freaking brain. Those dudes don't know how to draft. They don't know how to get free agents. They don't know what they're doing, so I wouldn't go there personally. I think the best place for him, which isn't going to happen, would be Las Vegas because the Raiders are primed and ready to have a truly elite guy. I like Derek Carr. I've said it ever since he's been out on the Raiders. I like Derek Carr. I think he's a really good quarterback.
I think he gives me Philip Rivers vibes.
He just doesn't get Gruden doesn't like him. He doesn't get believed in. It's like a Kirk thing. He's not trusted. So like Deshaun on the Raiders, other than them drafting people, I'd be scared. Deshaun on the Broncos, which is also another thing, I'm not worried about it because you know, John Elway. Deshaun Watson isn't tall and white, so John Elway wouldn't like him. I see a lot of things of Deshaun to the Panthers, but like what makes the Panthers good is their good young talent. Well, they're not good yet, but what makes them potentially really good is their good young talent. And to get Deshaun Watson, you'd have to give up some of your good young talent. So,
yeah, it's like the Mello thing. Have you heard on the Collins podcast, or maybe it might have been Undisputed with Skip and Shannon? Carmelo. Yeah, I've seen people get mad about that. Carmelo Anthony was playing for Denver, and he wanted to get out, and he wanted to go to the Knicks because the Knicks had a good team and everything. Well, and so he got traded to the Knicks, but in return, all those good players, the good players he wanted to play with, got shipped to Denver. So he was just there, and he kind of got screwed because his value was so high that they had to get rid of that good talent for him to play with.
Honestly, if I'm Deshaun, I say get me to Miami. Because if you look at it from Miami standpoint, they give up.
You want to get pooped on, bamboozled,
Bumma Tagovailoa fraud.
Yeah, you want Tua to get boomed out of the league so you can forever clown on the Miami Heat or the Miami Dolphin fans and say, haha, my guy's still in the league, haha, my guy's a starter, haha, you guys, because you guys have this little beef now, which is weird.
There's still Joe Burrow, but
but that's not. I'm talking about against the Miami fans.
I know, but here's the thing: if you look at it from Deshaun, you get to go a place with a great coach, great young defense, and the weapons are good enough that a guy like Deshaun Watson can elevate their game, and they have a good offensive line. And you look at it from the Texans, you're going to get Tua, and you're going to get at least 3 picks because look at what Matt Stafford got.
Mm-hmm.
So look at what the Lions got from Matt Stafford. So you get Tua, a good, potentially great young quarterback in this league. You already have Laremy Tunsil, so you can use 2 or 3 picks on the offensive line. But you probably got to spread it around because the Texans are just garbage. But you have picks, you spread them around.
Mm-hmm.
Get like an offensive lineman. Got to get someone to replace J.J. Watt. Probably like another linebacker or a D-back. Because the weapons are good enough that a young quarterback, you can make do a little bit. Since you're not paying them anything. So
like a country girl.
So you can...
Like a country girl, you can make do.
Yeah, country girl. City girl. No. And you could go get like an OBJ who has been hurt, so he's not going to command as much dosh, and then you could get him, so you could have Tua, lots of picks, OBJ. That you can start with that. You can market that. You can be like, hey, look, we're the new age Texans. We got Tua, we got OBJ. Remember that catch he made 5 years ago? You can do these things. Like, I think if I'm Deshaun Watson. And because I think he has like a no trade clause, so he has to waive that to go somewhere. So say, get me, and the Texans can get their pick back since they gave that for Laremy Tunsil.
So he controls the whole situation.
Yeah, he has a no trade clause. So
wow. So if they said, all right, we're trading you to Chicago, and he's like, I'm not going to the cold. No,
yeah, he won't waive his no trade clause.
Wow,
that's what I'm saying.
Deshaun has so much control of this situation. I didn't know what the no trade clause meant.
No trade clause is that he can't get traded unless Deshaun himself says it's okay.
Wow.
So that's why I'm saying if you're Deshaun Watson, you go to Miami. It's literally a loaded place.
Crazy.
All they need is a quarterback they can trust, so they don't have to keep on putting Daddy Fitzpatrick in there.
Oh, wow. A lot of QBs are going to want to start signing with that no trade clause. That's a great thing to have.
Yeah.
That's insane, actually.
Yeah. So just imagine. You know how good the Dolphins were like 10-6, like 11-5 this year, and they missed the playoffs. Imagine if they had Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would be crazy. They'd be winning. They'd be competing / winning that division. And even if they didn't, who wants to play the Dolphins? Who wants to play that ravenous defense? Even if you're at home, who wants to play that? Unless you're like a cold weather team. No one wants to play that. No one wants to play against Brian Flores. No one wants to deal with that, especially with Deshaun Watson. That's just a nightmare.
He'd look good in a Miami Dolphins uniform too.
That would be a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a contender to at least go deep into the playoffs.
Yeah. I don't know about Super Bowl yet with that.
No.
You'd have to shore up like running back and get some wide receivers
and see how everything meshes, just different things like that.
But I mean, shoot, if I was a Dolphins fan and we got Deshaun Watson, golly, I'd be excited.
Yeah, Hua.
Yeah,
Hua.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last time he was on the podcast, Tom Brady was a Patriot.
Mm-hmm.
He uploaded that picture of him in the tunnel, and do you know what picture I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You couldn't tell if he was walking into the tunnel or out of the tunnel. And if he was walking out, he would have been walking into the stadium, which means it was Gillette, which means he would have been staying for the Patriots. And if he was walking into the tunnel, that would have meant he's leaving. And he had a little silhouette picture. You couldn't tell which one it was. And as we was talking on the podcast, there was different rumors. And there was that Chargers rumor that they could low-key get Tom Brady. Fast forward to right now. It's February 19th, 10:19 p.m. And Tom Brady has won the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. Mm-hmm. Where do you rank Tom Brady's greatness out of everybody and that's ever played? Is he the GOAT in your eyes?
Like of the NFL?
NFL.
Oh, yeah.
He's NFL GOAT.
He's the GOAT. I mean, you're gonna have these like MJ like cards who are like Joe Montana's 4-0, and it's like it doesn't matter.
Like, please,
is Joe Montana going 10-0 if he makes 10 Super Bowls like Brady does? No, he's not. And also that offense was Bill Walsh made that offense for Joe Montana. That's why Steve Young came right in and succeeded just as well. He didn't go 4-0, but he still made Super Bowls and he still won. I think he went like 3-1, maybe like 3-0 or something like that. I don't know Steve Young's Super Bowl record, but I mean, like Joe Montana, all-time great. Like, it's just the guy is crazy. But I mean, what Brady has done, like Joe Montana had Jerry Rice, like he was. Steve Young is really good, but I mean, Joe Montana, obviously one of the best to ever play, but he's just like Tom Brady, 7-3, and Thomas, Edward, Patrick, and like every single time he won, he's the one who led his team to win, and he's just the way that Tom Brady, like the fact that he had never scored a touchdown in like the first quarter or whatever, and he still won 6 Super Bowls
prior to the last Super Bowl.
That's crazy. And you got to look at who he played. The Greatest Show on Turf. Then he played some middling, like the Panthers team wasn't a joke, but like definitely not one of the best he's ever played. He played against the Legion of Boom. He played against
MVP Matt Ryan.
He played against MVP Matt Ryan. He came back from 28-3 down. He played against one of the great young coaches, the Rams, Sean McVay, and
Eli Manning,
and Depoy Aaron Donald. And then when he lost to Nick Foles, which obviously like,
the Cinderella story.
Yeah, they were just crazy.
Great way
and
to end it.
Unless he lost to the Giants twice, which is like
one of them was
the helmet catch, the greatest catch. I'd say probably the greatest catch. I think that's the greatest catch ever, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and especially if you look at difficulty, the meaning. And like where it was, because like if he doesn't catch that,
what about Edelman's?
That was a great catch, especially with how tough it was. But
where it was,
if memory serves correct, and it's also that was a different league where it's like the Mario Manningham catch, like you could get lit up going across the field. And
Mario
like,
Manningham, who's that?
He was the guy who.
Are you sure?
Or was that David Tyree?
David Tyree.
David Tyree. Because the Mario Manningham catch was when he caught it like on the sideline like that.
Yeah.
Also another great catch. But, I mean...
David Tyree's helmet catch, and then there was another catch.
Yeah, the Mario Manningham catch when he caught it on the sideline like that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he caught it like this. And
I thought it was some other name.
It was like in the... It may have been another name, but, I mean, you know the catch. The guy who caught like that. It's just... Brady is the GOAT based off of accomplishments. He's the most accomplished player ever.
Plaxico Burress.
Are you sure?
That was the...
I think that might have been... That was the game winning touchdown. He threw one to Mario Manningham on the sideline. It was over the shoulder, and it set up... I'm pretty sure it set that up.
Oh, really?
I think
Maybe
so.
you're right. Either way, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
But you're fine. But, it's just like... It's almost popular to say now that Tom Brady's not the GOAT. And it's like, you're not a Brady D writer if you think he's the GOAT. And I hate that because it's like, you post on social media like, Tom Brady's the GOAT. He won another ring. And it's like, oh, I didn't know that you were a Buccaneers fan. It's like, no, I just have a brain. Like,
yeah.
he's the GOAT.
If you ask someone, okay, would you rather have four, if you're hungry, would you rather have 4 slices of pizza, or would you rather have 7 slices of pizza, but I'm gonna take 3 away. I'm gonna eat 3 of my own. It's like something like that. You're gonna want to have the more.
It'd be would you rather have 4 slices of pizza all to yourself, but you have 10, or you have 10 in front of you and you get 7, but someone else gets 3.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna take that 7. I'm okay with 3 being away. I'm sorry, but making it to 10 Super Bowls, let alone
across 3 decades now.
Yeah, and I made up a nickname during the Super Bowl, the common denominator. Say what you want. Tom Brady got to the Super Bowl with the Patriots. He's not. Say what you want. Like I said, he left. They went what, 7-9?
I think probably like 7-9.
7-9. Didn't make the playoffs. Tom Brady made the playoffs. Beat Washington, which had a great front front five, front four.
Like the number 2 defense.
Yeah, in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and went to the Saints, which, yeah, I get it. Noodle arm Drew Brees is not the same as he was, but they have, in my opinion, the most stacked roster in the league.
It was also it wasn't Drew Brees that was holding Brady to like 3 points and making him throw 3 interceptions. It was the defense.
Yeah. And so he wins against the Saints, and then he goes up to Green Bay. In Green Bay versus MVP Aaron Rodgers, and wins that game. And then he goes to the Super Bowl and he beats Kansas City, which is the best offense that we've seen in a while. You know what I mean? It has everybody like Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a good young running back, and they have Le'Veon Bell. If I told you a couple years ago that the Chiefs how the Chiefs offense was at the time, and I said, yeah, but they're going to add Le'Veon in 2 years. You know what I mean? Like Le'Veon Bell is still a good running back. He just needs time, and he was starting to figure out that offense the farther they went in.
Yeah.
And McCole Hardman and Sammy Watkins, and like just so many people on that roster and on that offense, and the fact that they beat them. And don't get me wrong, Bucs defense played well, played amazing, played great, played incredible, and they had the perfect game plan when they only rushed 4. And they had a robber in the middle, and they was playing like cover 2 up top. Mm-hmm. Like that was just a perfect game plan. Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles, perfect strategy. He might go and be a head coach somewhere. And
I mean, Levante David D'd up Travis Kelce 1-on-1 like almost the whole game.
Yeah.
There's few safeties who can do that, let alone linebackers.
Yeah, he's starting to be one of my favorites. Like, just seeing him play, I think he's my second favorite linebacker in the league.
Yeah, and I mean,
Eric Kendricks is first, by the way.
And people will be like, oh, but the Chiefs had 2 tackles out. It's like, that is true. You do have backup offensive linemen and offensive linemen who are in a place that's not their normal position.
That's a really, really, really big factor, too.
But at some point, you gotta stop blaming it all on that and start blaming Andy Reid and the coaching staff, because every coach worth their wit is going to say, okay, we're down 2 tackles, Shaq Barrett, a beast, Jason Pierre-Paul, a beast. Mm-hmm. Our interior linemen are fine, it's our tackles. So the fact that they never, they probably did chip every now and again, but the Chiefs offense is all about spreading out the defense. So it's usually just Patrick Mahomes and the 5 blockers. When you know that your 2 tackles are out, you have to always, whoever the hell their backup tight end is, you need to keep him in as an extra blocker. You need to keep Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's I know that you want that little safe route outside for Mahomes, but, you need to be Helaire, if the tackle looks like he's getting beat immediately, you stay in block no matter what. You do not get off that. You help him. Mm-hmm. If it looks like he might be able to keep it long enough for you to sneak out and get open, then sure. But the fact that their game plan was to just let Mahomes run, Mahomes is a fine runner. He can run if he needs to. But if you make him run the whole game, you're asking for trouble. You're asking to lose. And so at some point, you got to stop blaming the injuries and start blaming the coaching staff.
And Michael Vick was on The Herd or Shannon or the Undisputed, I forget which one. And he was on there and he said that going into that game, the Bucs, I think they had the number 1 rushing defense in the league. So he feels like the Chiefs bailed on the run before that game even started.
Yeah.
So they only gave Clyde how many touches,
Probably under 10.
Yeah, and when you're running cover 2 like that, you have 2 eye safeties, and you
barely have anyone in the box.
Yeah, you have barely anyone in the box. You want to run it, just keep running it and keep trying to. And I get that front 4 is devastating, but you can't just give up on the run.
You have to keep the defense honest.
Yeah,
I preach about this all the time, where especially if you have 2 backup tackles, being able to get out and block someone, and if you feel like you're actively doing something, because a pass block, you step back. And so you inherently give up power to the D lineman, and you're trying to go based off him. But if you're shooting out, you're taking the power and you're taking it to him. So if they ran the ball more, and even if it's not successful, like you don't have to get 4+ yards of carry. You just have to run enough to keep the defense honest, to make Shaq Barrett think about holding the outside, not just blowing by. Mm-hmm. You have to do that. And if you do that and you run the ball, let's say that you run the ball, like once every 2 pass plays. Well, then eventually you're going to hit on at least one or two of them, every couple of times that you run the ball. That means that those tackles get confidence because the run game's working. Those tackles get confidence, then they start to feel more, they get more confident. They feel better in their play. So then they'll pass block better because they have that confidence. Because if you just get whooped day in and day out, like if you're playing a video game and you just get daddy whacked every single time, you're not going to want to play anymore. If you keep pass blocking and you keep on getting blown by and you see your quarterback get hit, your morale is going down the toilet. So the fact that they just didn't run it at all had even a worse effect on their backup tackle situation.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think Tom Brady is, it's just so, like you said, it's just so easy and it's so popular or whatever the word is to say, I hate Tom Brady, blah, 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 this. Like you'll have casuals say, oh yeah, F Tom Brady, whatever. Like, Tom Brady's the GOAT, and there's really no debate at all. In my opinion, there's really no debate. Like, and, obviously they're going to want a quarterback to be the GOAT. Like, not Deion Sanders, but
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice was saying something. It's okay, you can have that award. It's whatever. But the Chargers, do you guys make the playoffs this year?
I know that we play an easier schedule since we were I think we were the 3rd or the 2nd place team, so it may not be that easy. I'm probably going to say no, just because it's the first year of a new coach. I am expecting your sophomore slump. I'm expecting a sophomore slump out of Herbert, but not too drastic.
What is a sophomore slump to you? What's the sophomore slump going to be like? Is it going to be dramatically bad to where like, oh my God, is Herbert really the guy? Or is it going to be like, it's not as good as his first year?
I mean, what he did his first year is just, that's already a very high bar. And I think he can get to it, but I'm priming myself for a little bit of a setback just because, new OC, new head coach. I think he threw about 30 touchdowns, about 10 interceptions. I know he had over like 4,000 yards. And so... So I really think that I'm going to say about like low 4,000s for Herbert. I'm going to say probably like 33 touchdowns. I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to say probably 15 picks because like this year he was making throws deep down the field and people it took people a while to get adjusted because like during the Rose Bowl, I think they played Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. He beat them with his feet. In the NFL, he beat people with his arm. Everyone saw the passes he was making downfield. Like, dude's got a cannon. And even at some parts last year, he would be making throws and they'd like get almost intercepted, but not quite. And it's like, yeah, Herbert, you can't do that. And so I think this year, I mean, he's a smart kid, obviously. He's
a smart guy.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. But I just think sometimes he'll probably make a throw that he's like, man, I made that last year. And he's like, I make that in practice, but, there's just things that you kind of can't do during a game that you feel like you can, but you just need to be at it longer to know. And like, I need to wait a half second longer. I need to throw it a half second quicker. So I'm expecting more interceptions, but still the same amount of yards and touchdowns. I'd say if I had to give a soft guess, probably 6-10.
6-10, your record?
Yeah, because I mean, we're probably gonna trade. We're probably gonna go 1-1 with the Broncos. Actually, no, we'll sweep the Broncos. We'll go 1-1 with the Raiders, and they'll probably get swept by the Chiefs. So that's already 3-3. I think we play the AFC North, so probably gonna lose to the Ravens. Probably gonna lose to the Browns. I just off my head, I don't know the schedule right now, and obviously like home and away games that will matter because if we have like a game against the Steelers in like December, I want that at home. I don't want that on the road because that'd suck. I'll say 6-10 to be safe. I think we're gonna have a good statistical year, but I think year 2 of Brandon Staley of just because I don't think people realize how vastly, how much of an impact it is to have a new coach and a new system, because it's just different. So I think just to be safe, I'll give it a year. We'll probably we'll play better than we did this year because we won't blow as many leads. And I'm saying that right now. I don't know if I can go through another year of
blowing. Oh my gosh!
I don't know if
blowing that many leads.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that. That was rough.
Yeah, I bet it was like watching the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, just it being your team and it being over and over and over again.
There was a lot of standing in my room, looking at the ceiling, clenching my fist, just saying "Oh, it'll get better. We'll fire Anthony Lynn." But oh my God, I'm so sick of losing. The straw that really broke the camel's back and made me not care anymore was that Broncos game that we lost in Denver because we blew a lead to Drew fucking Lock. I hate Drew Lock so much because he sucks. He sucks. He's bad. And then he'll be bad for 5 weeks, have one good game, and then he'll go. And then he'll sing on the sideline. He'll be rapping ooh, yeah, ooh. It's shut the hell up, Drew Lock. You were nowhere near. I want to see Tom Brady doing that because Tom Brady's earned the ability to rap and dance on the sideline.
It's okay. Let people have fun.
No, it pisses me off. You can have fun when you're good. when you're good and you've earned it, you can have fun. You can get drunk and throw the Lombardi across the ocean.
But when he's dancing and doing that, he's having. I'm sure he's winning, or I'm sure he's having a good game.
Yeah,
he's probably not throwing an interception. He's not out there throwing a pick and going.
What's he doing when he's losing? This is what he's doing when he's losing.
Yeah, because obviously you're not in a good mood if you're losing.
Keep that energy. Dance on the sideline before you go out there for another drive. Be
I disagree. Yeah. I feel
we can go out and score. No, get the hell out of here, Vanilla Ice. I'm not worried about it. I just obviously he's a Broncos, so I have a little bit of bias, but I mean, it's the same thing with Cam. Quit dancing, just play. I
like individuality. I like individuality in among players. And if they're gonna lose,
me too.
Let them make that their own thing. If they're gonna lose like that.
See, but what sucks is I want individuality is good too because the more stars you can have, the better. But it's the thing they're sore winners. They're sore winners because they're dancing in your face and, "Oh, you suck." But then they're sore losers, walking out on a press conference when you get daddy whacked in the Super Bowl.
Who did that?
Cam Newton. He got daddy whacked in the Super Bowl, didn't dive on a fumble, and someone was like, "So, Cam, you didn't have a very good game." And he was like, "Whatever, I'm leaving."
Because that's a dumb question. Come on.
He's a sore loser. You can't be a sore winner and a sore loser. That's annoying. No one likes that.
You're the sorest winner I've ever met.
What do you mean?
Listen, as soon as you beat someone in a game, you're just, wow, you fucking crap. Wow, you suck. You are a dog. You're this and you're that.
That's you.
That is not. How?
I always say GG.
I do too.
GG, or I'm like, come on.
You don't talk unless you're winning.
Well, because
no.
Because in 2K when you're like, "Oh wow, another turnover," you must love turnovers. Okay, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. If I don't talk back, oh well, you're quiet. If I do talk back, and then I'll mess up, and then you go, "Oh, weren't you just saying something about something or other?"
Yeah, when I bullied you at the top of the half court. I was it's like what? It's like you just need to get big, dude. And then
you didn't say it like that. You said get fucking big.
No, because somebody said, "Wow, is that a foul?" It's like, no, you just need to get big or something like that. And then you got past me. You're Ben Simmons. I'm Dame Lillard, by the way. So this isn't even impressive. But you go and you dunk on somebody. You just need to get big or something like that. I was like, shut up.
See, I'm very much a counter striker whenever it comes to trash talk. I stay back. I don't respond because I know that gives you energy. If I don't respond, you keep the antics up. Makes you play worse. You don't think it might. You probably don't think it does, but it does.
I don't play worse than I do not play worse.
But if it doesn't work, I don't give you that energy. And whenever I only
you wait until you do something good, and it takes a while for it to happen.
It doesn't take very long
it does.
to happen.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, when I got Larry and Spike, and they can't buy a bucket. I'm literally. I was De'Aaron Fox.
He was 3 for 3.
I was 3 for 3.
He was 1 for 11.
Larry was 1 for 4, and Spike was 1 for 6. Help me! I need help. Literally, I was like, guys, I'm 3 for 3. I need help because I can't win alone. And Tanner's talking trash like I'm playing bad, and I'm not. I'm literally 3 for 3 on his dome. I'm like, I have our 2 assists because you guys made 2 buckets on 10 combined shots. It's like he's talking to me like I'm negative. I've scored negative points. It's like I'm playing good.
Okay, but I don't talk
help.
trash unless you start it. So you started.
I
it.
never started.
Yes, you do.
When do I start it?
Okay, because here's what happens. You'll go and dunk on one of my teammates, and then like you'll like, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
I look at that as
Everyone
a shot.
does that.
I don't do it unless you do it, because I don't really care about and ones unless it's like a heated game. But you'll be in there and you'll dunk on one of my teammates and humiliate them, and then yell and one, and then I'm like,
if
all
I
right.
get fouled,
I'm
it's
like,
an
all
and
right,
one.
all right, that's fine. And then that's when I start.
If I get fouled, it's an and
then
one.
once I start, and then if I hear a little thing from you, go. Like one of your little nervous chuckles, like, oh yeah, that's funny. Like I know how you are, and then I'll just keep doing until the end of the game.
Yeah, and I don't like you were like no word said when getting clowned on. It's like, because what am I supposed to say?
Yeah, nothing. Oh yeah, let's go Jazz.
Hell yeah, a very nice score.
Got some money on the Jazz -5.5. Hopefully they cover.
You know, I hate to. I know I said that we shouldn't talk about it because I don't want to bore your
The Jazz.
Your
All right,
audience.
yeah, let's make that the last thing.
Yeah, I know. I said I didn't want to talk.
Here,
about
let me
it.
pull up the thing. How do you know how I can look it up? Utah Jazz, not 2015 Hawks.
So, if for those of you who have been watching the mainstream media, you probably don't know that the Jazz are the.
Is this it right here? SLC dunk.
Yeah. So, for those of you who have been listening to the mainstream media and have not been living under a rock, you probably don't know that the Jazz are the best team in the league. We have the best record. We're shooting the best. We're the best defensively and the best offensively. But if you looked at mainstream media, you would never know that. And so,
But will you guys win the finals?
I'm here to tell you, we have a chance.
Will you?
We have a chance.
No.
I'm not going to say yes immediately. We're going to win the finals because
You're
you
not
never
gonna
know
win
what
the
could
finals.
happen. We
No,
could have,
I do
we could have
know.
an injury.
No,
I
I know.
don't. No, you
I
don't.
do.
No, you don't. You're just hating.
No, I'm not. You guys are not going to win the finals.
We might.
You won't.
Okay.
You won't. You don't
If
have the stars. You don't have the
no,
stars.
If AD, okay, what about get to the finals?
What if you get to the finals?
Do we
No,
have a
because
chance
you're not
to get to
getting
the
past the
finals?
Clippers or the Lakers.
Okay, well, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Pat Bev have already had a history of injuries. They've already had it, and they've been flaring up this year. What if AD? What if he re-aggravates his Achilles thing? Because he's already going to be out for 4 weeks.
Well, then you're going to get LeBronto.
Oh, wow, go
You're
whatever.
You're going to
Get outta here.
You're going to get La Utah. Like
Yeah, what, LeBron and then who? Avery Bradley, who looks like he's shooting with his eyes closed. Who's going to guard the paint? Marc Gasol or 5'9" Montrezl Harrell?
No, it's going to be Andre Drummond.
They're not getting Andre Drummond. The Raptors are getting Andre Drummond.
I like Andre Drummond, by the way. That's just a meme that we just kind of made
Andre,
up.
Yeah, we call him Bummin. But no, yeah, Andre Drummond, he's amazing.
Yeah.
One of the best centers in the league. And but yeah, no, he's not going to the Lakers. Drummond is either going to the Nets, which I
Let's stay on topic. Let's stay on topic.
Okay,
You're not going to the finals.
we might.
You're not going to win.
We
You're
might.
not going. You're going to lose in the second round. I'm sorry. That's just how it is.
Okay, well then let's stay with this then. Let's stay with this. Okay, so let's say that the standings in the top 4 stay relatively the same. So it's Jazz.
So you're like
Jazz,
1 to
Jazz is
3.
the 1 seed. Jazz is the 1 seed. Lakers and Clippers are in the 2 and 3, and then whoever else is in the 4 seed. Well, the way that the playoffs are set up, because I don't like this, it's going to be 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5.
So you think Lakers and Clippers will be in the same bracket?
Yeah,
and
if the Clippers and Lakers stay in the 2 and 3 seeds, they will play each other in the second round if they win, because the first seed will always get the lowest remaining seed. So the winner of 1 versus 8 will play the winner of 4 versus 5. So you would have the Jazz versus whoever wins out of 4 and 5, and then assuming that the Lakers and Clippers win, the Lakers, who are the 2 and 3 seeds, the Lakers and Clippers, who are 2 and 3 seeds, will play in the second round, which means that we've already avoided at least one of them. And let's say that AD is still hurt. Okay, well then if AD like re-aggravates an Achilles or whatever, and so Lakers get bounced in the second round, then you have the Clippers. The Clippers are already kind of a fragile team since Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. They haven't convinced me that they can stay healthy for long periods of time. So you're probably going to have a situation where they're not going to play on the court a long time throughout especially in the third round of the playoffs. So if one of them two are out sporadically throughout the series, and, knock on wood that the Jazz stay decently healthy. Maybe Mike Conley re-aggravates his hamstring. We've seen how the Jazz have played without Mike Conley. I mean, you guys probably haven't. But you've seen how the Jazz have played without Mike Conley, and we get to play the Clippers without Paul George and Kawhi at night. Then we get to play them without Kawhi at night. Then we get to play them without Paul George and Pat Bev at night. Is it not crazy to think that we can make the finals? Now, if we play the Nets in the finals, we're going to lose. But we can get there. It's not crazy to
Nets
think
defense is so bad, though.
Yeah, but
all you have to do with the Nets is keep up with their scoring, that's quote unquote all you have to do. That's a tough task to do.
Yeah,
any one of those three could drop 40 on any given night. But at the same time, you guys' offense is great.
If any team that could do it, it would be the Jazz. We're hitting 17 threes a night, best in the league. We're hitting over 40% of our threes, best in the league. We're in top 5 of offensive consistency. We're in top 5 of defensive consistency. Like, we have dudes who we can just like Rolls Royce. Probably never heard of him. But we can just throw him out there and be like, Royce, you don't have to score tonight. We just need you to stay on this guy, stink on crap. Let
me read this article. The Utah Jazz are not the 2014 Hawks, 13 Spurs, or 03 Pistons. They're Jazz. By Michael Lohman. Let's see. Compared them to the 2014-15 Hawks, the most underhanded compliment of all compliments is when people are looking for a comparison to this season's Utah Jazz. The Atlanta Hawks were on a team that was greater than the sum of their parts. They won 60-plus games and relied on a modern offense when a lot of the league was still stuck in the past era. Heck, Quinn Snyder comes from the Mike Budenholzer coaching tree, if the glove fits, right? That new commitment to the modern offense being the second true mover to Golden State Warriors allowed Atlanta to take advantage of teams who hadn't caught up. The Hawks were able to rack up wins playing in the newest style because they had a team of veterans, Jeff Teague, Paul Millsap, Al Horford, Kyle Korver, who were committed to their roles. In the way that the Hawks are similar to the Utah Jazz, which has a strong team of veterans, Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, Bojan Bogdanovic. Yeah, Derek Favors, Joe Ingles. I didn't know Derek Favors was still on your team.
Yeah, we re-signed him in the offseason.
Oh, okay. But where they differ in this group of Utah veterans has not been able to rack up wins against a struggling conference. The Hawks only had 5 teams in their conference with a plus 500. The Utah Jazz have 9 in their conference with plus 500. Let's see. I get where you're going with this. Yeah, I mean it's okay because
we're better than that Hawks team.
Listen, I'm not saying that you're not better than that Hawks team. I'm just saying it's the same story, and it's going to be the same story.
It's not.
It's going to be the same story. Listen. This Jazz team, yeah, sure, it's not the exact same as that Hawks team. Like it said, there was in a league that everybody hadn't caught up with the Warriors yet. They was the ones that do it. You guys are playing, and everyone else is the same, like the league is all caught up to how it needs to be in the modern day, shooting threes more than shooting middies going in, that kind of thing. But the Jazz, they're a great team. Nobody really took the Hawks serious. I didn't take the Hawks serious that year. It was LeBron and LeBron. I didn't take him serious. I'm not taking this Utah team serious only because I don't know. There's just something I don't take serious about. I don't trust them. Well, how did you blow a 3-1 lead last year to the Denver Nuggets? What happened? Was it Coach Snyder not making different adjustments at halftimes or different adjustments between games? Was it the lack of performance? Because Donovan dropped 50
I think
points.
Part of the thing was, this might seem like a cop-out, but part of it was the bubble. It is an open gym. Like the arenas now, half of them are open gyms because there's no fans, but it feels more like a game environment. And people like the Jazz, we have 2,000 or so fans in the arena. There's fans being allowed more and more. So it's not completely an open gym. And Jamal Murray. That guy was just crazy. And I've always said this. Jokic babies Gobert. It's just a fact. Jokic just babies him. I do not know why. Gobert is just so great defensively, but Jokic babies him.
He can't handle the craft.
Jokic babies Gobert will he'll make a couple of good plays on Jokic, But the fact that Jokic can just like get the ball, turn around, shoot it like this, fading away as a three, and just hit like it'll go in the rim and it won't even hit net. It goes up so high and lands in so well that it just goes through the bucket. Like Jokic just babies him. It's just a fact.
Jokic is just great.
Jokic is the best center in the league right now, and the fact like that's just. I mean,
Him and Joel, the best two centers in the league right now.
Availability is the best ability. Jokic is. If you're like,
has Embiid been out?
He's been out parts of this year.
Has he?
Like he always is. So I mean, like Embiid, when Embiid is on, and I hate this because Embiid is a great center, but when you talk about Embiid, what do you always have to say before you say anything? Whenever Embiid is on, or whenever Embiid is healthy, or whenever he's trying, you never have to preface Jokic like that.
Yeah, that's true.
You always just
that's
say Jokic is gonna be that. It's always when Embiid is healthy. Embiid is crazy when he's healthy. He just dropped 50 tonight.
Yeah.
So it was just a perfect storm of open gym. Jamal Murray was just a god against us for some reason, and Jokic babies Gobert, and also that Nuggets team was like weirdly like underratedly long. Jeremy Grant, MPJ, Jokic is not a very good defender, but he's long. Jamal Murray is a little bit of a stockier guard.
Yeah.
Like, and I said this when the Nuggets got rid of Jeremy Grant, I was so happy because Jeremy Grant he's just like one of the best like Swiss Army knives. Jeremy Grant was D'ing up Donovan Mitchell at like half court, and it was like working a little bit. Yeah. And it's like, what the hell? This guy, I didn't see this in OKC.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy Grant played great for OKC. I don't want you to say that.
But I didn't see him guarding one of like the better one of the like a top 10 guard.
We used him as a 4 and a 3, and then he developed a jump shot.
But seeing him do that though, like he D'd up Donovan Mitchell and did a fairly decent job.
But yeah, Utah gets to the finals, I'll buy you a jersey. All right? Seriously, but if they don't do they get past the second round?
What are the standings right now? Let's just say obviously the standings are going to be fluid, and plus it's the West. The West is just stacked. So if we look at the NBA standings right now, so let's see. We would play the Warriors, and I think if everything stays the same, we'll play the Warriors. I think we're going to win that. And so then between Blazers and Suns, whoever wins in that, I think it'd be a good series. But I mean, how long is Nurkic out? If Nurkic is out for season again, and I mean Derrick Jones Jr. is nice, but he's not D'ing up Gobert. And I mean, I like Dame and CJ, but they're not D'ing up. They're just not obviously both guards in that series would not be very good defensively. But if you have to ask me, you need a guard duo to D up. Do you pick Conley and Mitchell, or do you pick CJ and Lillard? I'm picking Conley and Mitchell because they're not as good offensively, but they're better defensively. So and then with the Suns, DeAndre Ayton is having a crazy year. I mean, Chris Paul is Chris Paul, Devin Booker is Devin Booker, but I'm worried about their depth. I don't really trust their depth. So I think the Jazz would win whoever beat the Blazers and Suns, and then it'd be Lakers or Clippers in the third round. And then
do they make it to the conference finals?
I think that this year obviously depends on opponent, so we could revisit this later. But right now, looking at the Western Conference standings, looking at who the Jazz would play and or potentially play in the second round, I think that the Jazz would make the conference finals.
If the Jazz make it to the finals, I will buy you any jersey of your choice.
Okay.
If the Jazz make it to the Western Conference finals, the bet is a push. If the Jazz win... Wait, how would that work? That wouldn't work, actually. If the Jazz win the Western Conference finals... No, that wouldn't work either, because I said get to the fucking final. Shoot. All right. If the Jazz don't make it past the second round, you got to buy me a jersey of my choice.
I'll just go ahead and order the Wizards jersey right now.
And then if you guys make the finals, then I'll buy you any jersey of your choice.
I think it's I get why you guys don't believe, because like last year we blew that 3-1 lead, and the past couple of years we've been good but not great. But like I try to, it just feels like, you guys don't know because you're not fans, but like it just feels different. Like, you know how you probably felt about that OKC team that made the finals, where it's just like I'm sure throughout that year.
Didn't watch.
Oh, well,
sadly.
Okay, then what about the year when you guys blew that 3-1 lead in the Western
Oh,
Conference
yeah.
Finals?
Well, I'm already knowing.
I'm sure through that year you had it in your heart. You were like, this just feels different. There feels like there's something like like the last couple of years, like we were good, but I never thought that. I always said like we can make it to the second round. It just feels different. Jordan Clarkson, just Mike Conley is rejuvenated. Donovan Mitchell is still an all-star starter at you, Luka, because you stole a spot because people like European white guys. I just don't know why Donovan Mitchell wasn't a starter. Rudy Gobert still is good defensively, as always. Bogey's good. Rose Royce is good. Joe Ingles is good. We're not as deep as that Hawks team, but like our ninth guy on the bench is like George Niang, and the only reason why he was getting like 20+ minutes a night, like I told Cameron this. I said that a championship level team doesn't give George Niang 20 minutes a night. And now that Mike Conley's back, I don't think he's going to be getting 20 minutes a night.
Yeah.
But like it feels different. Like I felt this like, sorry, but like, I felt this like 2 years ago with that Chargers team when we beat Lamar in the wild card. That team, and I know that we lost in the divisional round to the Patriots, but that team, I felt like, I was like, we can win a playoff game. Like, it felt different because the Chargers had sucked forever, like, since then. But, like, this Jazz team, it just feels different. It just feels, I don't know how to, I hate that I can't explain it. It feels good.
All right. You make it to the finals, I'll buy you any jersey of your choice. If you lose in the second round, you buy me a jersey of my choice. So if you make the Western Conference Finals, the bet's a push. That means that nobody wins anything.
Okay.
So if you make the Western Conference Finals, you don't owe me anything. You don't have to bet me a jersey. It's over. The bet's over on that side.
Yeah.
But you still have a chance if you guys get to the finals.
Yes.
That I would have to buy you any jersey.
Yeah.
Deal? So that means that
okay,
if you guys get to the finals, I have to buy you a jersey of your choice. But if you guys don't make it to the Western Conference Finals, then you have to give me a jersey of my choice.
I like that bet, but I don't want to commit to it yet just because I want to get to the end of the season. I want to see what the standings look like. Because if the Lakers or Clippers somehow fall to like the 4th seed or whatever, and there's a chance we could play them in the second round, I don't want to commit right now because there's still like 2 months left to play, isn't there?
Yeah.
So I don't want to commit to anything now.
We'll come back
but
to it.
I will say this: I am interested in it.
All right,
I'm interested in that bet.
Bet. Well, man, we've done over an hour. It's good to get back into it. It's been a while since I've done a podcast. Do you want to plug in anything? Your YouTube, anything like that?
Working on finding a way to get my clips onto my laptop. Gonna get a PS5 as soon as they're not stupidly like scarce. It's like trying to find Bigfoot to get a PS5. So, I mean, shoot, I'll be uploading when I get a PS5, but I'm trying to find a way to get clips on there. But I actually this is gonna sound pretty stupid, but I wanted to do song parodies. Like, you know how like we like parody songs. I always wanted to do Roy Jones Jr.'s "Can't Be Stopped," and I wanted to be like "Can Be Stopped." So the whole song is about him.
You know what's funny? You've always said that though. You've always said that.
Like the whole song is like
it's
I want to like redo the
lack of
song
confidence.
and sing it, and how it's like "Can be touched, can be stopped." Like.
Then you got to find someone with a deep voice to do it.
You will not lose because I will not win.
Yeah, that's funny.
I want to do stupid parodies. Like, I've thought about it, but if I could ever get that going, I definitely want to. But
I think that'd be a funny way to end it off. Gage, I appreciate you coming on. It's been first podcast in a few months. Sorry for anyone who, all 2 of you that missed the podcast. But thank you for watching. Gage, thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate it. And let's go ahead and end it off on the parody. Go ahead.
All right. You dare discussion. You will not lose because I will not win.